Apologist Live, an apologetics program where we serve the underserved and look into the overlooked. Today is Tuesday, May 18th, 2023, about 8 till 8 here Pacific time, broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to have a guest today, not the guy on the screen. That's one of the guys we're going to be talking about. Guest today is going to be Rabbi Eduardo of Radar Apologetics. The man on the screen is recently arrested in a knife-wielding incident involving some anti-Semitism with some commonly used phrases and ideas that come out of Hebrew Israelism. So that's what we're going to discuss today. The linkage between anti-Semitism, Hebrew Israelism, and every now and then verbal or violent attacks on Jewish people. Let's get in.
How many roads? Too many signs, I can't read them. Wouldn't recognize a turn even if I seen it. Been driving all along, feel like I'm dreaming. Okay.
All right, brother. Welcome to the program. How you doing, man? You get the applause button. Tell people where to find your channel and where to find the work you do, my friend.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, brother. So my name is Rabbi Eduardo. I am the host of Radar Apologetics. So you can just find me on Radar Apologetics, RabbiEduardo.com. I serve as the associate rabbi of Congregation Beth El Gibor. It's a Messianic congregation, Messianic synagogue in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So you can find out more about us at that website as well. Thanks for having me, Vocab. I appreciate you, brother.
Heck yeah, man. Almost any show I do, told Rabbi Eduardo, he's got a open invitation, a pass to come on in. So this is one of the first times we're doing that. We're covering the topic together. Usually a topic I'd probably cover by myself, but today got a brother along for the ride. Okay, so let's get right into it. Here is the gentleman we're going to be discussing first. You have a situation where he's wielding a knife and brandishes it, threatens four young Torah students at a park near Brooklyn Bridge. So you ready to look at this this story? Hey man, bro, you might be anti-Semitic because you guys have the same hat on. There must be a connection.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's a fate, man. It's meant to be, brother. Oh, man. I already got called out on my hat earlier in the debate, bro. It's crazy.
Oh yeah,
This lady was like Mr. New York hat.
yeah. Everybody, check out Eduardo's debate he did earlier this night. This is his second live stream today. You debated a Anthony Buzzard student on the Trinity, on the Shema.
Yeah. His son-in-law, bro. His son-in-law on the Shema. So it was pretty good, man. A lot of preconceived notions about what the word echad means, and that's what we hinged the debate on, right? Not really proving Trinitarianism, but proving that the Shema is not Unitarian, right? So I think sometimes we go into these debates, we try to prove more than what we can just prove in the hour and a half, whatever it is. So I really wanted to harp down on that, the word echad and what it means.
Yeah, you did a great job, man. All right, let's jump over to the web. Here's our first story we're going to take a look at. Are you familiar with CoLive? You ever seen their stuff before?
No, I haven't seen their stuff before. Is this out of the city?
Yeah, so I have seen their stuff before. I don't know all the background, but if you notice, beside the joint there, it's got Hebrew as well. You see what I'm saying? Here, let's go on this side. We're gonna try to rearrange this.
What do we have? Hebrew and English in CoLive?
Yeah, I think you click. I wonder.
Oh
how
yeah, I
it
see it.
works.
It's like really small. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if that means the whole thing's got the translation or what. But it looks like it's, from what I've been able to tell, sort of Jewish news in New York. But I'm not telling you officially because I have only looked at this sometime. Okay, this website.
Yeah.
But here, this is very recent. This is why we're covering this. May 12th, 2023. May 12th, 2023. Can you see the headline yourself?
I can. It says Black Hebrew wields knife at I can't see the next thing next to it. That's a Bukhrim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see what it said, but probably Bukhrim.
Bukhrim near
Bukhrim
Brooklyn
are like
Bridge.
yeshiva kids. Yeah, Bukhrim. They're like
So yeah,
yeshiva kids.
explain, please. I'm glad you're here for this.
Yeah,
Perfect show.
So Bochrim, I mean, these are basically yeshiva kids, right? These are going to be Jewish kids that are brought up in yeshivish backgrounds. They're going to be brought up in Orthodoxy, basically Ashkenazi Jews. I mean, there's Sephardic Jews that could be part of that as well. but we're talking about Ashkenazic yeshivas. So the Buchram near Brooklyn Bridge, everywhere around New York, there's going to be a bunch of yeshivas and places to study, whole Jewish neighborhoods. You'll see black hats and black coats. They'll be dressed like their rabbis from the 17 and 1800s. They still keep that kind of suit dress, and you'll see it. And they're studying in yeshiva, and that's what a Buchram is. It's basically, a person studying in yeshiva, a young person, a Jewish person. They'll have curls, and that's what that is.
So it's essentially means like a student.
Kind
Is
of,
that what it
for
means,
me,
or what would the word
yeah,
roughly
I'm not
mean?
sure how they use. Yeah, I'm not sure how they use it in their own vernacular, like literally. I know, but
Okay.
somebody being a bechor is like a firstborn, right? Something like that. It could be like a bechor, but I'm not sure how they're using really in Bukhran. But I know it refers to those who are like in yeshiva.
How would you describe yeshiva? How would you
So a
define that?
yeshiva is like if you think about someone going to like a Christian elementary school or a Christian middle school or Christian high school, so they're getting education in Bible and also secular stuff. In the Jewish world, they only really study straight Talmudic texts, rabbinic texts, Hebrew. They'll study Aramaic, and they basically go on through yeshiva and all the way until their adulthood. And even once they're adults, they still basically study at yeshiva. Even in the modern state of Israel, many of the Orthodox don't serve in the military. They actually just go straight to yeshiva.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So look at the title: Black Hebrew wields a knife at Bochum near Brooklyn Bridge, and this
Yeah.
is very recent. It's May 18th right now, but so we're talking about a story that's less than a week old. 21 is that the Jewish calendar there? Beside the date, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. That's the 21st of Iyar,
Yeah. So
5783.
there's the guy, and I bet he's a 90s hip hop head. At least
Now it
early
looks like it the way he's
2000.
wearing his hat.
Yeah, at least early 2000s.
Reminds me of Murphy Lee from Nelly's homeboy. You remember? Right?
I was thinking Rakim with dreads, but and facial hair. But
Yeah.
I like yours. I mean, he's probably a guy that would be cool to talk to about hip hop. If we, as long as we didn't have to
Probably.
talk about, as long as we didn't have to talk about anything about related to Jewish people. So
Yeah, he probably have some La Shawan Kwadash bars. Uh,
yeah, yeah. Well, that's what's interesting about that. It's funny you say that. In all seriousness, the title says Black Hebrew. I don't know 100% for sure if this man is a Black Hebrew. That's what the headline
yeah.
says. And I'll tell you, I'm going to explain this to everybody. Here's the reason why. The stuff he's saying comes directly out of Hebrew Israelism. That's why sometimes I think it's better to try to use the phrase Hebrew Israelism as an ideology, and people can embrace elements of it. Do you see? So, for
Mhm.
example,
Yeah.
some of these guys, they'll quote Revelation 2:9. They misuse it. We've talked about that 1,000 times. We're going to talk about it again at the end of the show. But what if the secular press covered as Christian preacher abuses Jews on train with Bible verse or something like that? We're like, well, that's not a Christian preacher. Just like, let's say it was a Hebrew Israelite who was using it. But to the secular world, like, well, he's got a Bible. He's using the New Testament. He's a Christian preacher. Now, the reason why I say all that is it's like I like to be a little more specific. Now, they're probably not going to say Hebrew Israelism and all that. And that's why we cover the story, to add an apologetic element. He doesn't look like a camp member. I don't see fringes. Now, he
No.
could. I see he has a Popeye shirt, but I don't see
What's that?
fringes on the
What's on?
Popeye
Does
shirt.
he have a necklace on? It looks like he has a necklace on, right?
I don't know.
Am I bugging when you look at him? Go up a little bit more.
I'm going to try to zoom in.
Yeah, probably not there, but probably in the picture up a little bit, you might be able to see it. I thought I saw maybe a necklace hanging down. You see that?
I can see the trees.
Yeah,
And
but
like a
in the center, it
leaf.
looks like he has some beads almost. I mean, I could be wrong. It's hard to see, but it looks like he could have some beads going down. I don't
tell.
really see camps wearing that, but I know sometimes they'll wear some stuff that could be kind of similar. Who
Yeah,
knows?
and he's got an Edomite on his shirt. I'm pretty sure Popeye is an
Mhm.
Edomite.
Yeah, Popeye's definitely Edomite. Oh,
I am what
actually,
I am.
there's a scene in Popeyes where he goes into the kosher market in
Wait,
one of the old
what? Is
Popeyes.
it really?
Yeah, there's a scene
What
in Popeyes where he
happens?
goes into the kosher market.
What happens,
I think he
bro?
just goes into the kosher market. It says kasher in there, like it has the Hebrew word kasher. And we all kind of noticed that within Judaism, that we notice it says kasher in it. But it's interesting. He's wearing He's wearing a one of the synagogue of Satan on his shirt. That's kind of crazy.
Well, were you saying Popeye's Jewish?
No, I'm just saying he went into a Jewish market. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Well, so here's Popeye. You gotta love Popeye though. Wait, how's
Yeah.
the theme song go? How's the theme song go to Popeye? The old card. He toots his he has like a corn
Yeah.
pipe.
I remember that. That's
Yeah,
about it.
something. That's all I remember. Yeah, he's like.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I can't.
That's
all I
it. There you go. That's it. That's all I remember too, man.
Anyways, I forget the tune. So, anyways, there's the knife. It looks like a butterfly knife. Well, hold on. Let me unzoom it. Not the most. This isn't a Rambo knife, okay? So I'm not trying to oversell this, but I'm also not trying to undersell it. He is spouting out Hebrew Israelism, threatening people with the knife. While they're probably talking about Moshe or something. Oh, there it is. Rachel got it. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Da 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 da. How we used to do like a joke when I was a kid. It was something like, "I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I live in a garbage can.
I live in a
I like
garbage
to go
can."
swimming with bald-headed women. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man." That's not the real
That's
version.
so funny, bro.
Did you do that too?
Yeah. No. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think the ending was different, but we all put Popeye in a garbage can. So that's
You didn't have I like to go swimming with bald-headed women?
I don't remember what the ending was, but I knew we definitely put Popeye in a garbage can, man, for sure.
Poor Popeye. He's down there. He's down there hanging out with Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible, man. Terrible. You know what I just thought about, right?
What?
I grew up in New York. I grew up in New York City, right? Yeah. And so I just finished doing some youth retreats, and I was in Texas, and I was in different states like that. And there are these 14-year-olds that have actual farming knives on them, right? And we'd be on the camp at the Bible camp or whatever, and I'd ask these kids from Texas. I'm an East Coast guy. I'm like, why do you have a knife on you? Oh, it's a farming knife. Brother, you on a farm? You're like, what do you need a farming knife now for, right? It's just part of everyday life. So I'm only bringing that up because this is clearly in New York City. Right. It's not normal for you to walk around with a knife. It is definitely, this knife is illegal in New York City, right? From my understanding growing up there, you're not supposed to be walking around with these kind of knives. He definitely bought this in New Jersey or Pennsylvania or somewhere else and brought it in because you're not just buying knives like that in New York City.
Wow. Well,
so it's definitely illegal, and that's probably why he's getting charged with it.
Well, a group of 4 Chabad, Bokurim, how do you say?
Bokurim. So, and I was right. So I did look it up just to be sure, because sometimes we add connotations to words, and the Jewish community does that as well. But it's just a young, unmarried male, especially a yeshiva student. Bokurim. Okay. So,
okay,
that's exactly what I was saying.
Tell people real quick what Chabad is.
So Chabad is basically it's a type of Hasidic Judaism. They have several rabbis. Their latest rabbi is Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson. He died in the 90s. There has been no rabbi to succeed him. Many within Chabad believe that he is the Messiah. And the interesting thing is that they do ascribe him to be actually God in the flesh. They call it the Atzmut and Aguf, which is really interesting. And they apply Isaiah 53 to him, which is pretty interesting. Now, they don't typically say this out in the open, but many in the know do know that this is an underlying belief. So they're super Hasidic. They're very yeshivish. They're very religious. And, the big thing is they won't talk to people that are outside of their community, right? Many times I'm dressed like this, and I'll say hi to them, and then they ignore me until I hit them with some Hebrew, and then they halfway ignore me.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
right.
So this is a very insular community for people to understand. It's very insular.
So this guy threatens him, and I'm going to read the story. It's very brief. 4 group of Chabad, Bokurim, excuse my pronunciation. I'll get it eventually. Were victims of an anti-Semitic incident by a knife-wielding man on Thursday evening at Brooklyn Bridge Park in downtown Brooklyn. A group of 4 Chabad, Bokurim.
There you go.
Were victims of an anti-Semitic incident by a knife-wielding man on Thursday evening at Brooklyn Bridge Park in downtown Brooklyn. The Bokurim, Israeli students. So these are Israelis, bro.
Yeah.
Who learn in 770 Chabad Yeshiva. We're in the
stop
park.
Real quick right there. But
Yeah.
before you go forward, right? Let's think about what's happening here. We have Israeli students from the Holy Land who leave the Holy Land to learn at 770 Chabad Yeshiva. What's at 770? That was the house of Menachem Mendel Schneerson.
Oh, really?
So now you have the Holy Land that moved from Israel to actually this land. So now they're migrating and taking their Hajj to the place where their last Rebbe was in order to go and learn more at that yeshiva. So it's just interesting that, if you're in Israel, learn in Israel. Why would you want to learn outside of Jerusalem? But no, they're coming to learn at the headquarters of Chabad, which is in Brooklyn.
Fascinating. Wow, this is the perfect show for you to be on. I'm glad you jumped on today, bro.
It worked out, man.
Yeah. So they're in the park approximately midnight, and I read a bunch of comments. People were like, first of all, get out of the park at midnight. People were upset about the kids out there at that time when they were approached by a black male who proceeded to shout anti-Semitic slurs and insults at them. Now, let's see a little bit of what he says. He shouted at the Mokarim to get out of the park. And people on Twitter, they were kind of making jokes. People were like, hey, they should get out of the park. Why are you in any park at midnight in New York? But then people kind of took serious because I was reading through comments. They were like, well, you're going to blame this attack on them? And they're like, no, I'm just saying, why are you in the park in Brooklyn at midnight, Anyways. But
you got to be wise, man.
Yeah, but I mean, these are literally foreigners. These are foreigners. They're young kids. Like, basically, you should be able to go study Torah or talk about whatever, you know what I'm saying? And not have to be, insulted by somebody spouting Hebrewism, especially when they got a knife.
Yeah.
He shouted to get out of the park, and then he took out a knife and demanded that they give him money. The victim said. The man shouted rhetoric commonly heard from the black Hebrew Israelites. Now, here's what I'm saying. Within the cities, Hebrew Israelism is becoming part of the religious plausibility structure. So even if you don't go out on Saturday with the sandwich board shouting that Susie's going to be your slave in 20 years, you still might imbibe this. And so the problem with Hebrew Israelism is not just the people in the camps. It's the common person who's a pedestrian who walks by 19th Avenue every Saturday. No, it's a street in Phoenix I'm talking about, so not a New York reference there when I say 19th Avenue, although I'm sure they have a 19th Avenue too, but I'm talking about ours where they're at. You start to imbibe this hate as if it's God speaking. That's why Christian apologists stand against this nonsense, because this ain't going to help nobody. So he takes out this knife, claiming that he is the real Jew. They are not. Now, that's a quote, it looks like, from probably the witnesses there. Black Hebrew Israelites are classified as a hate group. Now, that should say some. That should say some. Because even the hate group trackers don't say anyone who's a Black Hebrew Israelite is part of a hate group. And I wouldn't say that. But when you start talking about what ISUPK teaches, to me, it's obvious they're a hate group. Of course they're a hate group. You just got to know what they teach. It's not even, I don't even see how it's debatable to say a group like ISUPK is a hate group, for example. Of course they're a hate group. Black Hebrews like to classify as a hate group, so that's not a completely accurate line. But, these folks, they get the basics, but we're here to add more context. The Jersey City supermarket shooting in 2019.
They're not, I was going to say, they're not, your average young yeshiva student is not having a conversation with a Black Hebrew Israelite on the train, right, to get the good ones, right? That's just not happening. So I think they're always looking outside their own bubble in order to see what the Black Hebrew Israelites, and always hearing and seeing the bad stuff. So any Black Hebrew Israelite that might be mellow or might not be aggressive or attacking, they're really not going to be exposed to that as much.
Right. Yeah, because that's not who you're going to sort of hear about it so much. Hey, look, looks like we got somebody. I didn't realize this. I was missing your comments. Shania Zion. Looks like whoever that is got some, basically talking about some of the stuff we were talking about. So I appreciate that. Hey, what's up, Karim, by the way?
Yeah.
How you doing? What's up, Nate? How you doing? What's up, D-New? Okay, so I appreciate Shania Zion. What they say, I don't know if it's a... How do you know all this? Popeye was created by Elzie Chrysler Seeger, a Jew. Yes, Popeye, like Superman, is created by the Jews. I never knew that.
There you
That
go.
totally makes
There you go.
sense.
I was gonna drop an air horn. I didn't mean to. I had to hold my hand back.
Can you do it on your end?
Popeye, yeah, that's good. I don't know. Let's see. Did it come through?
No, but I'll do it for you.
Here we go. I got it. Hold up.
Wait, I just heard it,
Hold up.
bro. How can you
There
do
you go.
that?
It's Rodecaster. Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
Isn't
so
that funny? That
we
battle of the
yeah,
air horn.
about the air horse. We have learned something. Now I knew all about Superman. In fact, I have a show. Can someone, one of my mods, please type in the word Superman on my channel? Drop the Superman link. I do all the theology on Superman. It's a great interview. Okay, so we learned something more about Popeye. Thank you very much. They speak Yiddish, not Hebrew. If you spoke Yiddish, they would talk. I don't know if that's is that right?
Yeah, I think they will. I think that's accurate. I don't know any Yiddish, so that usually doesn't happen to me, but that I think that's a fact.
Okay. Chabad students will be getting done at the hour. So Shana is saying that's the time they get out.
Yeah,
So
they study late. Yeah, they study late.
okay.
But look, maybe they were passing through the park, and Shana Sion, Bocher. I don't know what the book Bocher is. I mean, from Bocher firstborn, Bechor. I mean, that is the firstborn. That's where Bocher comes from, and I'm sure Bocher's a book too. I mean, Judaism has books named after everything.
I've been a Jew my whole life, not a Hebrew Israelite. Oh, we didn't think you was a Hebrew Israelite.
Hey, Shana Sion, Naim Choti.
What he said.
Nice to meet you. I said, nice to meet you, sister.
Yeah. Ham Sunshine says, yuck, 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 yuck. The Popeye life. Popeye life. Okay,
That's
so continue on here. Jersey City supermarket shooting 2019. There were 6 people killed as perpetrated by a man who identifies as a black Hebrew. Now, that's true. I've seen IUIC try to spin it as if he was a Muslim. David Anderson was not a Muslim. Abu and I grabbed his rap music. We grabbed his Facebook videos. He speaks Lashon Kodash in his Facebook videos. The man is a Hebrew Israelite. David Anderson was.
Yeah.
And he did try to go into the yeshiva. Fortunately, the door was locked. So he went to the supermarket, the deli instead. It would have been much worse. It would have been much worse.
Yeah, of course.
Now, look what it says. He kept yelling that he is a real Jew and we are not, and that we should get out of the park. The victim's so-called life. So the man can't make up his mind. He's double-minded, unstable in all his ways. He wants them to get out of the park, but he also wants them to give him money. Bokerim called Shmira of Williamsburg. How do you say that word? Shmira?
Shmira. Called Shmira.
What?
That's what it looks like to me.
That means one of those like local community cops, right?
Probably. See, I'm not familiar with I know that they call them the Shomrim, or like their police in certain areas.
Because I think this is like the singular of it, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be very mistaken.
Yeah.
But we know Williamsburg's Brooklyn neighborhood, who arrived and called the police, who arrested the man. Charges were upgraded on Friday to include hate crime charges. NYPD liaison Devorah Halbertson told Cole Live. So here's some images from it. Now, I'm going to play the video. It's very short. It's not really that relevant. It's clearly after the fact of what happened. It just basically shows the arrest. You get a real quick glimpse of one of the students, I think. Pans to the right. I see. You can kind of see.
I see it. Yep, you can see his seats, his fringes.
Yeah, real brief. Oh, this is clear. See this guy?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's all you get though.
Yeah. Yep. Shana says that yes, it is the local Jewish police and public safety.
Yep. Shana, don't go anywhere. You're like a great resource. I don't remember seeing you around, but shout out to Shana. And thank you for all the help.
Yeah,
hey,
it's good tips, man.
Dinu dropped that link. That's that link. It's Batman and Atheist, Batman, Superman, and God. Yeah, we get into the religious views of them. We get deep into Superman. It's a great one. Okay.
That's
okay,
good.
so that's really it for that story, except for a few more pictures. I want to know, so it's really, in essence, what it is. It shows a knife real quick.
It always kills me how New York cop cars always look so dirty, you know? I live in Pennsylvania now, the cop cars are clean, man. Except for Philly, but
Oh, yeah. Well, there you can see all 4 of the students.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got their payas on. I mean, standard, Chabad Yeshivish dress.
If you had to guess, who do you think is the community cop guy? Like, who doesn't? Well,
These all look like NYPD officers.
well,
So
no, I'm saying out of the. I bet it's this guy
it's
with the
hard to
hoodie.
tell.
If I had to guess, I don't know. Over here on the far right, I wonder if it's a guy with a hoodie. Man, if you're one of
Could
those
be.
guys, you got to be ready at all times because they're calling this dude like at midnight.
You gotta
So,
have heart,
yeah. Start packing, people. It's time to move from NYC. Well, you can't do that if you're down with that group. Or start
No.
packing a firearm. Oh,
Mm.
wait, NY doesn't recognize the Second Amendment. It's Williamsburg Shomrim. So there's a comment. I don't know why.
Shomrim.
I hear Florida's nicest year. Question: what kind of administration lets these foreign students out at 12 a.m. unaccompanied speaking foreign English? Anyways.
Look, I mean, if they're from Israel, unless they come from a super insular community, I mean, they more than likely know Hebrew as well, Hebrew and Yiddish. That's not really going to help them much with their English when they're here, but many of them still do understand English. I mean, I've bumped into, a bunch of yeshiva kids from all over, and they basically, if they come from Israel, a lot of them do know English. Obviously, there are insular communities that they don't learn English, but for the most part, especially if you're traveling around New York City, you got to kind of know the language a little bit.
Hey, do you understand this comment? Jacob Saul is right. Why are they upset? Oh, no, never mind. I thought you were saying. Okay, I see it. Never mind. Now look at this. This is interesting. You get a little bit of anti-Goy sentiment here. He shouted, "Get out of park," and then true, "Get out of park," especially when same was true in the country clubs of the 50s, 60s didn't allow Jews in because we shouldn't have been mixing with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think there is that notion, that has crept in within Judaism. And this is something that really permeates it. Even with wine, with kosher food, with the transmission of food, the idea is that according to the Torah, Gentiles are off limit because Gentiles are idolaters, right? Gentiles aren't off limits just because they're Gentiles. Gentiles have joined the Jewish people throughout Israel's history always, right? We have Ruth, we have Moses' wife. I mean, we have all these people that are from the nations that are joining God's people, joining Israel, right? So what we have, though, within the development of rabbinic Judaism is that Gentiles are now not unclean just because they're Gentiles, right? And I think that's a reflection of that comment that, hey, we shouldn't be mixing with those people. The reality is the Jewish people are made up of others that have joined them in history, right? Many people have come from many places and have joined them. And as the Jews were exiled from their land, as they went around, they've mixed with the people who were there. This is why you have Spanish Jews, Black Jews, and you do have Chinese Jews, right? So this sentiment that is deep within rabbinic Judaism is definitely Gentile hatred, right? That a Gentile is unclean just because he's a Gentile. Not too different from what we see, what was going on in the book of Acts, right?
Yeah. I mean, Peter expressed that sentiment and was like, "Well, I shouldn't be here."
Yeah.
By the way, which
people
proves
in Yankee hats up to no good.
Well, it's funny Gerard says that because I know Gerard's from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Gerard, in fact,
So
when me and Alfredo and some other brothers went out to Brooklyn a couple years ago, we met up with Gerard at the Michael Brown debate. He was debating Shmuley on something or other. I actually forgot, but it
That's
was
awesome.
it was such a dope debate. I was like, bro, this is pretty close to heaven. I'm with the urban apologists, meeting homies from offline in Brooklyn, watching Michael Brown debate. Like I obviously don't mean it really because you have people not believing in Messiah. God bless their souls. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Thomas
Agreed,
Carlyle.
man.
It seems like we will see more of these kind of incidents because PHI groups, IUIC, are getting more and more brazen in their ideologies. So, Thomas, you're exactly right. That's what I'm saying. A group like IUIC is not going to take out a knife and demand Jewish folks give them money. They would never do that. You see what I'm saying? But what they're going to do is spit rhetoric that other people are going to be about and act on. So they're imbibing the anti-Semitic elements of Hebrew Israelism, and then they act on it. And it seems like the guy was probably inebriated. He had a can of, something or other, old duels, I don't know. And then he's spouting their stuff. So that's the problem. Hebrew Israelism isn't just affect the people that are directly in these camps. It's a contagion, a social, mental, spiritual contagion that messes up to people out on the street because these dudes are out there all the time. Shayna says, there used to be
when I
many
grew up,
signs in the U.S. that say no dogs and Jews allowed. Yeah, I've seen those. I think you took it backwards. The non-Jews did not want to mix with the Jews. That's why the fish says, no, that's true. I get that part. But I think what the commenter was saying is we shouldn't be mixing with them anyway. Like saying, why are we trying to jump in their goy clubs and stuff like that? You know what I mean? But I got you. Because if you read the comment.
like a Jew was saying that.
Yeah, because it seemed like the Jew
Yeah,
was
like a
saying,
Jew was saying that.
like, why are we trying to jump in their stuff anyway? That was the indication I got. But go ahead. You was about to say something, bro.
Yeah, I was going to say, I grew up in Brooklyn, right? I mean, I lived in Brooklyn until I was 20 years old. I mean, I grew up seeing Black Hebrew Israelites in Manhattan, in different parts of Brooklyn, in Times Square, never really understanding what they believe. Like you said, you have the sandwich board, you have the posters, the cardboard cutouts. You'll see the pictures of white Jesus with the 666 on his face. I mean, I grew up seeing that, firsthand. And unless you actually engage these guys, you're not going to, at that point in time in the 90s, you weren't going to know exactly what they were talking about. There was no internet, right? And I think what's really the catalyst for a lot of this is the access to excess of information, right? That any brother sitting on the steps who feels down because of his current social economic condition, family drama, hurts and pains and brokenness, just starts Googling about identity and worth, or maybe they heard something while they were on the train ride on their way home, right? Because they've been on the trains as well. I've seen them on the trains. I've seen them in the train stations. Here's a word, you're special, you're Black, you're the apple of God's eye. And all he has to do is go home and find this out. This is why we have this, can you even talk about exiled Black Hebrew Israelism, right? Distinct from the camp, right? Something where it's become spread out to every single person of color who feels that they are missing something in life, to embrace this identity, have worth and value, because they are not finding it in the rest of their social constructs, their jobs, their businesses, their family, their relationships. Their relationship with God feels empty, so therefore they lean on this. But I think the difference, like I'm saying, is that they don't need to actually go to a camp meeting or hang out with the brothers on the streets.
Right.
All they have to do is Google and figure out all of the ideology, and not only the one that's close to them, but they can pick from all the several different variations that fit their particular perspective, as aggressive or as passive as they would like to be.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And we're gonna see more of this, unfortunately. And if you're a Christian, and hey, we all struggle, I get it, but if you don't have your identity in Christ sort of fully embedded, you don't realize who you are in Christ, that's not part and parcel of who you are, but you're in some way would say you're a Christian, whatever, but your identity is not rooted and grounded, and you're not putting him on every day, so to speak. You don't see it that way. You see something else as primary. You're susceptible to this stuff. The Christian who's rooted in their identity in Christ, they're not susceptible. They're not susceptible because it's not appealing, because it's like, why would I go backwards? It's retrograde. Let's just forget about the veracity of the claim. Why am I going to base my primary identity now on ethnicity? That's backwards. I've got the gospel. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Damian Logan says, y'all want us to mix because it's beneficial to y'all heathens, but detrimental to us. You despise us despite how much y'all seek to imitate us. That's just the truth. Poor Damien, I'm not sure if you understand what was going on. We were talking about actual, like for real, Jewish people from Israel, Israelis, and their forced exclusion in the 50s and 60s. They were kept out, and now how there's still some sentiment among certain segments of the Jewish population. They're like, well, yeah, don't be mixing in with the goy, We're not really actually talking about Hebrew Israelites or any other category, but thank you for the perspective. And it just shows you're a segregationist.
Yeah.
Now here's
You know
Israel
what?
national news. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say, you know what's interesting? I think a lot about Messianic Jewish communities and Messianic churches, right? Basically, where ethnic Jews worship Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah, right? And where they worship him, in America, we have a very much this inclination to identify with our Jewishness with yarmulkes and tzitzits and the fringes, and we have much that expresses our Jewishness outside. But when we talk about people who live in the land, Jewish people who live in the land, who are worshiping Yeshua Jesus in the land as Jewish believers, there's less of the external outward. And so I just bring that to the table to say that these Orthodox yeshiva kids are really they encapsulate the fullness of Jewish identity on both sides, right? That they are speaking the language, the Hebrew, they're speaking Yiddish, which is the language that their ancestors have learned through exile. They're partaking in reading Torah scrolls and having synagogues, and they face towards the Temple Mount, and all these things are part of their identity. And then also they have also the external factors of tradition, as well as participating in the land. And for those that aren't Orthodox, that are Jewish believers in the land, they're fighting in Israel, they're learning the language, they're walking the same streets that the Jewish people have walked for a long time, apart from the exile. So when you talk about the Black Hebrew identity, there's just not that trail that exists, which I think is problematic. When someone says, like what Damien said, right? Y'all want us to mix. Well, you've been mixing for a long time, right? I think that's the reality of what it's been.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect, but once you embrace Hebrew Israelism, you just essentially live in a fantasy world of your own. But it's not a harmless fantasy world. It's one based upon hate and revenge. I mean, just look at this comment. I very much doubt that it happened the way described in this article, since we know this same group of small hats owns the media. You know what, Damien? This particular paper it's a like a community specific Jewish issues newspaper. This isn't even mainstream media. So actually, in this case, this is literally Jewish media. We know all that, but you would just
Yeah.
discount anything because of the source. But we should just discount you as a source. Well, he's a Hebrew Israelite. He's probably a liar. What if I did that to you? Oh, he's a Hebrew Israelite, so nothing he says is true. We don't do that. You guys may do that to us. We take each thing at face value. Okay, is this true? Is this false? I wouldn't do that with you. But see, that's how you guys operate. But you're not in the spirit of 1 Corinthians 13, which says believes all things. And what that means is believes the best, is willing to not be skeptical or doubtful in the way that's harsh, born out of basically hatred. So it's all good though. We're glad you're here nonetheless, and we're glad that we got some great people, some great comments. Texas chick, did he call us heathen? Yeah, of course. That's what they think. Okay, so hey, Dinu. By the way, Dinu, stick around. We're gonna play a video clip later, and we may partially need your help in translating. You'll see what I'm saying. But here's a very brief story. So they picked it up too. They covered this, Eduardo, May 16th. So this is literally only 2 days ago. Knife-wielding Black Hebrew Israelite threatens Jews in Brooklyn. A salient charged with hate crime after brandishing knife at Israeli Orthodox students in NYC Park demanding money. Israel National News. That's a picture of Williamsburg, so it's not particularly the incident or anything. What are the furry hats? What are they called? Do you remember the name?
So I'm not familiar. So I am not as involved with the ultra Orthodox community as much. So I'm not familiar what they're called. But I think if our young lady who was here a while ago would know, she'll probably know right off the top what that is.
Yeah, let us know if you know what those. I heard a case where like a rabbi was visiting, a famous rabbi in New York or something, and somehow, and I'm not doing this on purpose. I don't know the name. His furry hat went missing, and apparently it was like a rare or expensive one, and so it
They're
was
all
like
expensive.
broadcast about how much it was, and so there's like a rumor, understanding, at least among some people, like in the New York Italian community, that like these hats are like like hella
Yeah.
expensive. Real, you know what I'm saying? I guess maybe they
Yeah.
are.
So look, it's called the Stremel. It's called the Stremel, and it's a
Okay.
fur hat worn by some Ashkenazic Jewish men, mainly members of Hasidic Judaism, on Shabbat
Okay.
and Jewish holidays, other festive occasions. So you can get one right now on eBay for $2,999.
Wait, how much?
$2,999.
Huh.
1,800. Yeah, so they're not cheap. brother.
Yeah, wow. And I thought I was paying a lot when I got my New Era hat for $39.99.
Yeah.
You know,
Same.
you know, what?
It's
Hey, what is?
interesting. I'm looking up what they're saying here.
Let's check out Damien. Let's show the lust for racist revenge. And yes, wait, let me do it with the sound effect. Hold on.
I do want my pound of flesh from your heathens, because it's justice and scriptural. I want my pound of flesh from your heathens.
Read.
Yeah. Hey, for real though, man, Hebrew Israelites sometimes when they be talking, they sound like movie villains, bro. All they need is a glove and a snap. And y'all be sounding
No,
like
it's
some
crazy,
real
man.
movie villains, man. The knife-wielding follower of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement was arrested in Brooklyn after threatening a group of 4 young Orthodox Jews on Thursday night in Brooklyn, BITCHUTE, according to Stop Antisemitism. The victims, Israeli students, were suspect accosted them, shouting anti-Semitic slurs. He also told them to leave the park, taking out a knife and threatening them unless they handed over their money. The victims were counted. According to Stop Antisemitism, the anti-Semitic slurs used by alleged Stani were similar in nature to anti-Jewish language used by Kanye West. He also frequently heard from Black Hebrew Israelites, including that Jews are imposters. He is the authentic Jew. The Jewish students reported the incident to Shmira of Williams. We're back. Hopefully we're good. And Radar Apologetics is rejoining. Had a little trouble there. But we've really covered that story enough. I think it's time to move on to the next story as we continue on. Sorry about those issues. Okay, we're back. We're good. Praise God. Are you ready for the next one? Now we're leaving New York City, leaving Brooklyn here, going over to Europe, UK. It's from the Jewish Chronicle. Passenger shouts effing devil, Jews in shocking London bus attack. So this one's actually a little worse. Video footage posted online shows a man hurling insults at Jewish travelers by Felix Pope. Notice the date, May 12th, 2023. Again, this is only 6 days old. And you see the little logo there? It's that same community protection we're talking about. You know? And that's a picture of the guy. All right? Eduardo, can you say something real quick? I want to make sure you can be heard, my friend. I don't hear you. Can you hear me? Eduardo, what's up, bro? Hey, what's up, Brie and babes? Well, Eduardo, let me know when you can hear. I'm going to read this story. It's where's the story at? Just disappeared on me. Let's get back to story. Real quick, everyone, if you like these articles that I got here, you can actually find them right in the description box. Notice how I'm grabbing it from the description box right there. So they're right there. And there you go. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay, let's take a look at this here. Here, I'm cutting in and out. You know what? I don't have anything to fix or change with it, so I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really do anything because I've already changed. Well, actually, let me see one thing if I can change the preferences here to try to get this to stop doing this. Hold on. Just give me a second. I'm going to try to fix this. I hear we're no, it doesn't let me do it in the middle. Let's see. There we go. Okay, I'm trying to. Let me see here. Trying to fix this here. Sorry about that, everybody. What's up, Eduardo? How you doing, brother? Larry Love, shout out to you, brother. Thank you very much for the super chat, Larry Love. Larry Love, by the way, let me tell you something. I sent out your shirt today. Larry Love brought an Urban Theologian shirt today. Eduardo, can I see your shirt real quick? Can you show the people?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Urban Theologian House. So Larry Love, I saw that you ordered one, and I actually sent it in the mail today. Although I feel like it was a different address than what you're saying. But a shout out to you too as well from Cincy. All right, let me see. I'm just trying to fix everything to make sure that we're not going to have the problem again. Okay, so let me read this here. Sorry about the technical problems. A Jewish bus passenger was called an effing devil. Shocking abuse on Friday morning. Video footage posted online reveals. Hey, Damien, the Hebrew Israelites in the chat, you don't get to deny this one because I'm going to show you video of it. You don't get to deny that's probably not how it happened. Yeah, right. Like a Hebrew Israelite wouldn't say the stuff the guy said. This one's got video, though, so you're going to see it, everybody. The attacker, who is brandishing a yellow pole. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but once you see this dude's yellow pole, you realize, oh, that's a serious yellow pole. Wow. I don't know what he was doing with it, but he was ready to go. You'll see. Can be seen hurling insults and rambling incoherently on a London bus, unless you know patois. He said, that's where you come from. You shouldn't be in Palestine. Some effing murderers. You kill children. You slaying black people for 500 years, Jew. Effing Jew. He's an effing devil. Tell him all the effing Israeli people are dead in a... So they said blood cart. That's not what he said.
Yeah.
He didn't say blood cart. It's a swear word in patois. But you'll see. Me tell you that, the black God tell you that, record it, record all of it. Aware that he's being filmed, he then adds blood cart. That's not what he's saying. 10 Downing Street.
It's really funny.
Yeah, this is funny, the translation. Tell them that the black God said all the people are imposter to see people that you are Jew. Now, the man seems somewhat like in the vein of Rasta, but Rasta has some Hebrew Israelism elements in it. I'm not aware of Rastafarians being anti-Semitic. Now, I'm sure there could be ones who are. Maybe there's something I don't know. This guy, regardless of what his, definitely is. And I want to show people stuff. Hebrew Israelites are becoming like known as the anti-Semites in the community. So even if like we don't know for sure this guy's religious beliefs, what's happening is people are basically assuming if you're anti-Semitic and you're in a certain situation, then like you must be a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not saying that's actually correct. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's the kind of reputation y'all are getting. I'm talking to Hebrew Israelites right there. Yo, shout out to Berean Babes for the super chat. Berean Babes. Can someone drop, maybe D-New or Nate, someone drop the link to Berean Babes' YouTube channel so people can subscribe, please, to that. Damian Logan is here. That wouldn't have happened if you heathens had left us alone, vocab. Well, right now, you're the heathen who can't leave me alone, Damian. I'm not in your live stream, but you're welcome in mine. You know... You're the heathen bothering me, bro. That's all right, man. We love you. You know.
I'm Damien.
But Damien, you get a little party sound. It's that one. Okay, so here we go. Strowman from Stamford Hill, and I did a whole show on the UK Israelites bothering folks at the Stamford Hill market. Can somebody put UK Hebrew? D-New, Nate, I want to show that link too, because I did a whole show on this. This is becoming a real issue, where Hebrew Israelites go specifically to areas of London where Jewish folks are and bother them like this. We're seeking information on a report hate crime that occurred at approximately 9 a.m. this morning on the 253 bus route, Finsbury Park to Stamford Hill. Male suspect targeted Jewish pastors using racial slurs. If you witness the incident now we're going to show you that Twitter video in a second. The footage, posted online by Jewish Community Watch Group Shomrim, shows a man becoming increasingly irate. Evan lying blood card. And you kill them with black people, he says, while attempting to hit the man filming him with his yellow pole. It's true. I saw it. Take your thing off me before me mash it up. I do love the fact that he's using the slang in there. Now, it's weird because he changes his mind. These Hebrew folks, these Hebrew Israelites cannot make up their mind. Leave the park, give me your money. Leave the park, give me your money, right? This guy, film it all. Don't film me, I'll mash it up.
Yeah.
Double-minded man, unstable. Don't blood clot film me anymore. The abuse reportedly took place at 9 a.m. Friday morning, 253 bus route. Most recent hate crime statistics published. Home Office showed it. So this is UK, everybody. March 2021 and March 2022, there are 1,919 hate crimes targeting Jews. That's a lot. And in fact, somebody look on the website. Okay, thank you. D-New got it. Hebrew Israelites harass Jews in London, England. There's another one that takes place on what they call the Tube in London, what you covered as well. And this is a separate incident. I'm going to try to find that one too. I think it's one that says UK Hebrew Israelite, because that's another one I was talking about. That's the one I was talking about, D-New. But there's yet another one. I'm pretty sure it says UK Hebrew Israelite, and that's the one with the guy on the telly messing with the family. Anti-Semitic. Oh wait, an increase of 49% from the previous year. Anti-Semitic hate crimes accounted for 23% of all religious hate crimes in the UK, despite being less than 1% of the total religious population. That's shocking, by the way. Metropolitan Police have been contacted for comment. Okay, comment, my man. Comment, Eduardo.
Yeah. So one of the things I think that's interesting is if you go down to where it was that they actually have their own Shomrim Twitter, which is
that's
interesting
what
to
I
me.
was on. That's right there.
Right? Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I think it's interesting that they're actually, not just policing their own community, but they're creating awareness and consciousness about the things that are happening. Say, we serve the entire community supporting victims of crime, regardless of ethnic or religious background. That to me is really interesting, right? That they're trying to take a stance to, hey, we're not just trying to help our community, we're trying to help all of them. I think that blood cart thing is actually really kind of funny. And if you don't know patois, you're not going to pick up on it, but that just shows you that sometimes there is a space culturally between the two different groups, right? Between the insular Jewish community, that they can't even get the right phrase down from the patois over, which to me is actually pretty fascinating. It shows a massive disconnect between them and those that are on the outside. And I think it's interesting that they did bring up, a lot of people in the comment, 50s, 60s, there was a lot of pushing them out. This happened in the Middle Ages too. They pushed the Jewish people into the ghettos, but it does not change the fact that within their literature, they called themselves to be separate as well. So it's tough.
Yeah. This is real stuff, everybody. And shout out to these folks holding it down. I like their Twitter. Look at that, 11,000. It's fascinating. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I mean,
so
look,
there, May 11th.
and there's a lot in their community. I mean, this is how you're going to get, if you're part of this community, you're really going to get a big part of your information, right? About what's going down and things to watch out. So is this the guy? Because I missed part of it earlier. I dropped out for a second. Is that the guy? Yeah.
I'm about to show it. A shout out to Thomas Carlisle for the super chat. Thank you very much. And Dinu, thank you. She found that other link I was talking about. Thank you. That's exactly it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And I already gave a shout out.
Yeah, the hate is real, man.
Yeah, all right, let's switch over here. I'm going to watch this here. And I do have the curse words, not the patois ones, beeped out here and the captions, although some of them are 100% right. Nicodemus Serpico says, Radar, looks like you got some fans in the house, bro.
What's up, brother? That's my boy. Nicodemus. He's a good guy.
Right on. But yeah, thank you, Dini. You found that other one I was talking about. Muslim defends Jewish family from Hebrew Israelite. That was a fascinating situation that went down. Okay, so here we go. Bada boom, bada bing. Here we go. Let's watch this. Turn up the volume here. All right, it is going to curse everyone. Wait, I can't hear it yet. Oh, let me flip it here. So you can tell it's a screen recording from their Twitter. I'm gonna put it in the middle of us, and we'll check this out. So this is the video from the incident, and you can't say it didn't happen that way this time, guys, because we got it right here on video. There we go.
Things, yeah? That's where you come from. You shouldn't be in Palestine. You're some murderers. Kill 12 black people for 500 years, and I come talk about you as Jew. Jew? You devil. Oh, tell him. All your Israeli people, them are going dead in a blood clot Palestine. Me tell you that. The black God tell you that. Yeah? Oh, so kill you all out now. Record all of it.
Real quick, I just want to say, so the audio would be the person holding the phone. Like I'm saying, the phone's beside them. I just want everyone to notice. So it's a Jewish person holding the phone. What is the Jewish person? They're not saying anything to provoke this. They're just holding a phone, recording this guy as sort of some form of protection. Now we're going to speak at the end, but I just want to point that out. When you get like this psycho disease of anti-Semitism, these folks see a Jewish person in public and just get all triggered and just start going off just by the sight. This dude is exhibiting that sinful disease. Ain't nobody talking to him about nothing. He's just flipping. And every time he turns around, it's like the devil tells him, turn back around, say some more. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You see what's going on here? I just want everyone to notice what's happening here.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think we can divorce some of the hurts and pains of the Black community, Hispanic community, lack of identity, broken structured families, and then they see Jewish people, and then they're, regardless whether the Jewish people have money, don't have money or not, they see a community that seems like it's doing okay, right? They hear the ideas that they're doing great, and they get told that, hey, they're being held down because of this, because of what. And so this person who doesn't look like a camp member as well, like we said, probably's got Rastafarian influence. He himself too is thinking, you know what? I'm being oppressed by what these people are doing. So I need to attack. I need to defend myself. I need to take back what's mine. And it's 100%, you know, I think it's from the enemy influence. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, 100%. And a shout out to Brandon, my man, for the super chat. Air horn. All right, let's watch this video again. Let's see what's going on here. Watch this. Now, I'm pretty sure, I want to replay that part. Everyone, listen to this part carefully. I'm pretty sure the way the audio sounds, so you hear the ding, so it indicates he's about to get off. This is a stop. It sounds like there's a child who cries or like makes a whiny sound, like probably with the couple or something like that, because you can't see everything that's happening. But right when he hears it, he says, shut up. It sounds like he's talking to the kid. Listen to the audio real carefully. You know, listen.
Record it, record all of it. Shut up, man. Tell me yeah? Record it, I'm going to carry that blood clot 10 Downing Street. Tell him the black God said all of the people are imposters.
Look at the lady just on the phone.
Like nothing.
This is no kind
normal
of
life.
This isn't even New York City. She's just, well, yeah, I sent the basket of fruit. Did you wait? Hold on. Did you get the basket of fruit? Hold on, I don't. You know, it's like she's just normal.
Do it. Get it.
You know?
That's funny.
In the background, it's a blood cutter. You know, it should be on your doorstep.
Blood clot 10 Downing Street. Tell him the black God said all of the people are imposters. But these people are not talking about your Jew.
Yeah, people know what he's saying. He's saying the black man is saying to you that all of you are imposters.
Yep.
That's what he's saying. The black man is saying to you that all of you are imposters. The black man is saying to you, right? So translate my patois for you. Yeah, it's.
Let's see what he says. Watch. So it's not over. The worst part's at the end. Watch what happens.
Black people. Yeah? And we have a kill the whole on the back. Remember? Take your finger from the mash it up.
Sorry, don't touch me with the head. Sorry, don't hit me. Don't hit me. Don't hit me.
And he picks up another weapon. Looks like it's a level.
Like a leveler, yeah.
Yeah.
Those things are 3 feet tall, man.
Yeah. Shayna, she says that he thinks it's Moses' staff. Although, you know, I doubt Moses used his staff to attack Jews after making anti-Semitic comments to him. But yeah. Dinu, hold on, let me get this off here. Dinu said, no, he said, shut up, man. Don't tell me nothing.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you guys think of this in the live chat? You know, like, do you guys see this? You know? And it's interesting the way people understand it. You know, if you look at it, what's it say? You see at the very end of the article that we looked at, thejc.com, that, the stuff he's saying is stuff the Hebrew Israelites say. You know, that's how I found this, you know?
Yeah.
Because this is the type of stuff. And look, I don't know, you know, how people can say that anti-Semitism is not real. I just don't understand you folks that say stuff like that. Whether you're white, black, brown, I don't care. You guys that say, "Oh, anti-Semitism," how can you say it's not real? You can't even go to the park. Can't even be on a bus. I'm a Christian. I know these folks, if they're Orthodox at least, which they probably are because of the way they're dressed. That's the identification. You know how they get attacked or whatever. Would not accept Jesus as Messiah. I'd want to witness to him, which some people, they probably might not like it. You know. But I don't want anyone to be treated like this. You know, this man's out of pocket. And you Hebrew Israelites, you guys watching this, I know you're sitting there thinking, well, that brother's a little off. You know, maybe what he's doing, you know, but he's basically right. That's what almost all of you Hebrew Israelites watching this are thinking. He's pretty much right. He just got to wait till the right time. That's the way y'all be thinking. Because I see y'all. Hey, maybe our resident guy who's been in here with us, what is it, Damien? Damien, let's get your opinion on this. I'll put the comment on the screen. And I saw some of you guys other ones, you know, but Logan, hit us up with your comment. All right. So do you want to comment on this, my friend?
Yeah. So I did want to, there's a Jew worship. So when someone put that there, they said, why this isn't Jew worship. We clearly believe that the Jewish people need the Jewish Messiah 100%. When Israel does stuff that's wrong, we tell them to do it wrong. When
Then
Israel
again,
does stuff that's right, it's totally fine.
Just
Go
real
ahead.
quick, I do engage in Jew worship. I worship Jesus.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. Amen.
But go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Brother. Same here, man. Same here. But I think there's no Jew worship, right? Me personally, I know the same thing for vocab, right? Any people that are getting oppressed and pushed down, I believe that that's wrong. I stand against it. What's happening here is still on 14.4.
Yeah, I don't know how to change it in the middle of a stream, though. Can you?
I don't know if you can.
That's a problem. I don't think I can do it.
Go to that preferences and see if it can say.
Yeah, it wasn't letting me.
Let me see.
No, I'll just know for next time. I'll just have to know for next time. But go ahead if you can continue on.
Naff said that we should have been fine. So that's all right. Got to be something different. Either way, all I'm saying is we stand against any suffering. And what I'm saying is this is why we're looking forward to the new heavens, the new earth, and the new Jerusalem, and all things. This is why Yeshua are so important, right? So that the more that Black Hebrew Israelism, the more that people are going to be hurt and the Jewish people are going to be attacked. But not only that, be destroyed. Vocab covers this. How many men leave their families, leave their wives, Hebrew Israelism? They're murdering, they're embracing all these ideologies that are absolutely demonic, presenting what Messiah should be, seem to profess that Jesus Yeshua.
Yeah. Thankfully, we did get some comments from the Hebrew Israelites, and I'm glad that they shared their opinion. And it is pretty much what I thought would be said. So I'm going to put it on the screen and let everyone read it. Damien, and thank you for giving your opinion, says, yeah, I perfectly understand his anger. That's what y'all heathens cause with all the suppression of us. That's just what y'all get for having us in captivity and not letting us go. Need Hamashiach now. Well, he's not using one West, I don't think, or Lashwan Kodash.
He's using that Yiddish.
Yeah, he's using we're just teasing, by the way, everybody. And look what it says here. And then, like I said, he says, although I don't agree with my fellow Israelites' actions. Did I not basically predict what if a guy was honest, what they would say? He essentially said that. But I mean, I appreciate you giving your in your own words. Thank you. You know. But yeah, that's it. Now let's jump over to this research. Are you ready for this next part? So we want to show this is all recent.
Yeah,
now we're going to look at not just like the reality of what you see at the tail end. We're going to look at the other side of it. This is from the Jerusalem Post. And again, notice how fresh everything is. May 11th, 2023. Research connects correlation between online Semitism and attacks. Synagogue of Satan is a trending term that it has made it increasingly more likely for a U.S. synagogue to be attacked. Following October 27th shooting, President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, walked the Tree of Life Synagogue, Rabbi Jeffrey Myers, the White House advisors. So that was a horrible thing what happened there. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to blow this up a little bit more. Oh, that's not kind of, let me see here. Let's read this article. And then we got the PDF. We're going to get deep into some of the theoretical side, but not merely theoretical. Following new research from the Network Contagion Research Institute, NCRI, and the Combat Antisemitism Movement, CAM, a new report has been produced to better understand just how directly calls to action for violence against Jews is directly related or directly connected to attacks on Jewish targets. In the first of its kind, the CRI and CAN report dives into how the online incitement of hate crimes against Jews turns directly into physical attacks on Jewish targets. And this is what I'm saying about Hebrew Israelism. It doesn't just stay here. It doesn't just stay here. It doesn't just stay here. It ends up here. That's what happens, no matter how much you guys try to contain it, because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, but also the hands move.
Yeah.
In recent months, new anti-Semitic language has come to life, such as a trending Twitter phrase like synagogue of Satan, which typically is connected to calls for violence against Jewish houses of worship from notable Twitter users known to incite hate against Jews. This term has been particularly popular amongst extremist groups on multiple ends of the socio-political spectrum.
I was going to say, we're a little bit ahead of the stream, right? Like, we're a little bit ahead of the stream, like a few minutes, like people are going to see what I'm saying in like 5 or 10 seconds. And people are already texting that they were saying they are not Jews. Read Revelations 3 verse 9. And they're a little bit behind us, right? They're a little bit behind us and we're ahead of them. And we're reading stuff and we're already going towards the place that they're already read, where Francis Cooper is already ready to go, right? That they're not Jews. Read Revelations 3 verse 9. Isn't that crazy? There is the same enemy behind all of this craziness seeking to destroy God's people. And when I say God's people, I'm not just saying it in the sense of, I'm saying they are descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God is still being kind to them in some sense, but without the Messiah, it means literally nothing. They will not have eternal life, right? So God's people is made up of Jews and Gentiles. But what I'm saying is this hatred is a deep-seated thing that is brought about by the enemy, and they're seeking to push people away, right? Love should be casting out all these things, man. We should be loving each other, building up God's people, which is Jew and Gentile together. And if you fall on a side of that where you're kicking out Jews or you're kicking out Gentiles, that's an issue. That's a problem.
Doubt. Chris in Christ asks, have you done a super thorough breakdown of Revelation 3:9? I'm tired of hearing it be misunderstood. So, Chris, I've done stuff more so on Revelation 2:9, but Revelation 2:9 is very similar to Revelation 3:9. In some of my breakdowns, I briefly go over to 3:9. But, Chris, maybe you would be able to do this. I don't know if you know how to search on a particular YouTube channel, but you go into the YouTube channel and type in Revelation 2:9 or maybe Rev2:9 on my YouTube channel, not just on all of YouTube. And you'll find a couple shows, and maybe we can drop those in the live chat as well. Shout out to Larry Love with the second super chat. My goodness, my man. Much love to you, man. For real. Thank you very much. Damian Logan says, no point explaining it to you, Thomas Carlyle. You are my enemy oppressor. We have nothing to discuss about this. Either you accept my stance or you don't. Either way, as long as we end up set apart, is promised by, I'm pretty sure it says the Most High or something like that.
He pressed enter by mistake. He looks angry in the picture. And I'm not saying that to be funny, but he does.
The Almighty Most High is all I care about. Well, yeah, I could see him being on like the cover of like 90s vinyl. You know, he could totally be on the cover of like a 90s hip hop vinyl record. I could see, you know, that could work. But all right, let's continue on with this. From Jerusalem Post, look at this. QAnon U.S. extremists could be responsible. Included are QAnon influencers, Christian and white nationalists, Black Hebrew Israelites, and Nation of Islam supporters who use their platforms to advertise the term and blast anti-Semitic tropes. Notice how many disparate types of groups hate the Jewish people. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, it's funny, what unites black and white supremacists, you know? Usually it's anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
That's like the common bond. In this study, researchers examined the Synagogue of Satan's signature and cross-examined it on a national level across the United States, see how it could be connected to synagogue attacks that actually occur in real time. Using spatial regression, which is a tool frequently used in climate modeling and forecasting to analyze the statistical relationship between variables, show a direct connection. Now, I had to get tutored to pass algebra. So you're going above my head, but it sounds fancy. But
It
no,
does sound fancy.
I do have the report up, so we are going to look at it. These terms, along with attacks, become increased when well-known public figures adopt them. Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, former U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Flynn, a strong example of this. Now, I don't know what Mike Flynn said. I don't know. I'll be curious to see what they mean by that. The combat anti-Semitism movement found sharp increases in recent months against Jewish houses of worship. The study found 33 monitored anti-Semitic incidents in which Jewish institutions were targeted globally during the first 2 months of 2023, 12 of which were U.S. synagogues. This marked a more than 70% increase in attacks on U.S. synagogues this last year. I don't know if you guys remember Thomas, I'm going to say Munson, but I might be wrong in the name. He was the guy they were saying was definitely Hebrews Light, but when I covered the story, I said yes, he had definitely imbibed Hebrews Light ideas because it was in his journal that he had, but it appeared his most explicit religious identification, when you actually looked at it, was some form of like nominal Islam conversion, but he clearly had imbibed Hebrews Light ideas. The reason why I bring all that up is, if I remember the story correctly, and I think this was in Jersey, and I think the rabbi, or what, he macheted a bunch of mainly older people in this situation. He actually had Googled synagogues near me. Like, that was part of what he did, and that's where he ran in with the machete. That's another one somebody should, I don't know if I put that, what was the title of that show? Synagogue Attack, maybe? I can't remember the title of that show. Larry Love is totally supporting the show tonight. Larry Love, you're making it happen. Thank you very much to all the super chats, for real, bro. All right, so look in here. This is serious stuff. Rapid increase of these attacks prompted NCRI and CAN to further analyze the impact of cyber social signals and attacks in the real world. The dangerous Satan narrative has transcended traditional ideological boundaries, serving as a unifying theme among diverse extremist groups, said NCRI Director and Chief Science Officer Joel Finkelstein. I'm going to read the rest of this, but let me get a comment on you because I've been going for a while and I need to drink water. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, for me, I think that it totally makes sense that people are searching for these terms, and it's creating this. I think anytime you have celebrities on the upper echelon preaching these things, and this is why I totally reject the notion that celebrities or people who have big platforms are just guilt-free and they can say whatever they want. I mean, they have a high level of responsibility, and when you get people like Kanye West and Kyrie Irving and all these guys preaching as Hebrew Israelism, they don't have to say exactly what the camps are saying. They don't have to preach the same exact breakdowns of passages. They don't have to say, oh, the white man held me down, all this stuff. All they have to do is say, I'm a black Hebrew the way these guys are the black Hebrew, and have the identity marker. And then the young black person, the young Hispanic person, the young Native American who's broken in his identity, lost, doesn't have a relationship with Messiah, he's going to say, you know what? I resonate with Kanye, successful Kanye West, you know, and I am special in God's eye. And the source of all my pain is, you know who they are? The small caps, like they say, right? That they to say these are the ones that are the source of my pain, and it manifests itself, like you said, in that aggression and that anger. That's why I think it's really important that, you know, as people who have platforms to whatever degree they have them, 1,000 subscribers or 500,000, if you're a Christian, if you're a believer, to be condemning these sorts of things, right? And to preach the true Messiah and to preach that reality and preach identity in him, not identity in skin or race or color, right? One people in Messiah.
Shout out to D New. She found all the Revelation shows. I dropped those on the screen. They're in the live chat. Thank you. And the knife attack one. So a lot of stuff we're talking about, we've covered. We're sort of building up a library of this. What I need to go back and do is like clip some of these live streams out because there's some good stuff in there.
Make some shorts with them.
Yeah, I need to do that. But all right, so continue on here. You say what?
Yeah, I went back and I just clipped a whole bunch of older live streams.
Yeah.
Clipped certain segments of it and just put them back out, man. Because, you know, it's good material, but everybody doesn't see it. They usually stay with your last 2 or 3 videos and, you know, you bring it out. And a lot of people have been saying, oh, that was good. I never saw that.
Right, exactly.
You know?
And while a causal link between this online rhetoric and real-world violence, vandalism, or threats cannot be conclusively established, the correlation between the two is concerning, and the potential impact of such a toxic narrative should not be underestimated. As society becomes increasingly aware of the spread of anti-Semitism in all its contemporary forms, it is crucial that efforts are made to counteract these narratives and protect the safety and well-being of Jewish communities. And identifying the significant correlation that exists between hostile rhetoric on Twitter about Jewish houses of worship and real-world incidents incidents targeting synagogues across the United States, important steps must be taken by both policymakers and social media platforms to enhance the safety of the Jewish community, said CEO of CAM Saka Reutman Dratwa. A key call to action in the report is directed at social media platforms such as Twitter and their need to ensure that application programming interfaces API remain accessible to research institutions, monitoring organizations, and law enforcement agencies. Doing so, the report highlights would allow for further research on the relationship between online anti-Semitic rhetoric and real-world incidents. What is the solution in the eyes of combat anti-Semitism movement? Lawmakers should require greater levels of transparency from social media platforms to prevent the proliferation of anti-Semitism and violent acts of hate. Now, obviously, I'm against acts of hate. I'm against anti-Semitism. No doubt about that. However, I have some struggles and challenges with blanket calls for basically censorship and removal.
Yeah.
You know, I'm libertarian in a lot of ways, and that's I don't mean in the political party sense, but in the sense of minimal government involvement. Everything has to be regulated in some way. You can't have, I'm not an anarchist, obviously, but basically small government. You know, closest politician in the modern scene, you know, I would line up would be someone like Rand Paul. So when you look at this, it's like, it's just shut it down. Well, let's say, for example, we wanted to do a show, you and me, Eduardo, and we wanted to discuss what Revelation 2:9 is actually about. We would be using the phrase synagogue of Satan. We'd be using that verse. The AI can easily recognize that verse. So it's not like the government can't realize, oh, that's where it comes from. So let's make that verse anytime that's tagged, let's go after it. Because then you have AI doing a lot of this. It's not even always people. What would happen, you know, if all this is implemented and we're covering it? Like, will that part of the Bible, you know, and I understand if you're Jewish, you're saying it's not part of the Bible. It's a New Testament. It's Christian, whatever. But that part of the Bible, Revelation 2:9, Revelation 3:9, you're not going to be able to speak on it. What's going to happen? See, that, and even the idea of, well, we disagree. If it's a direct call to violence, that's one thing. But if it's a correlation, and they're even saying, look, we're using this, but it's not conclusive, but it's circumstantial, which I think it's accurate from what I've been able to see as far as the correlation between these things. It's sort of a no-brainer. But does that mean you shut it down all the time? See, the solution sometimes is different. Even if you're against anti-Semitism, fight against this stuff day and night like we do, that doesn't mean I'm all about, well, then just don't let people talk. Unless they're making direct calls or threats, that's different. But, you know, Christians, I want you to think about this, because sometimes Christians are like, yeah, just get rid of it. What happens if the phrase synagogue of Satan, for example, is tagged into some way by, you know, what will happen when we try to discuss it? Because that's in our Bible. We're saying the interpretation's wrong that the Hebrew Israelites give. Like, I just want people to, like, think through these things and be principled, whatever stand you take, you know.
Yeah, I think for me, like, I use the word synagogue in a lot of my streams, probably more than most Christian content creators would be using, right? Because I'm talking from a Messianic Jewish context, I'm going against rabbis, and I'm using Satan a lot. What stops the AI from picking up a video that I'm not even using them together as synagogue of Satan, but in the sentence, synagogue and Satan is used together, they can absolutely get it. In my opinion, the only way to combat bad ideas are with good ideas, right? Combat wrong ideas with the right ideas. And I think that the Hebrew Israelites have been so successful in that dark realm of convincing people to take their arms and to be active and go out in the streets. They've been successful in that because they're so motivated by pain and hurt and hatred that they're going out. I think as believers, we have to be just as motivated in love to go out and combat these bad ideas, right? To go out there and actually physically confront these ideas. Not that we're putting people in headlocks and fighting people, but that we are presenting these ideas through social media, through our posts. We're spreading the love of Messiah, true interpretations of scripture, but that requires people learning it as well, right? And I just think that's something that has to develop, being motivated by love and confronting these bad ideas with good ideas. And that's the only thing where people can make their own decision. That's why, like, debates are important. It's important to have these debates and these discussions, not just the one person talking, but the two ideas exchanging, and then let the people decide what the reality is.
100%, no doubt. And, you know, Christians, look, we have the solution. Not us, like we came up with it, but God dropped it down. And what I mean by that is, Who smashes the dividing wall of hostility between Jew and Gentile? Read the book of Ephesians, especially the second chapter. It's Jesus Christ who has done that. And that is a prophecy that was predicted in the Old Testament, now fulfilled in the New through Christ. You're not going to have true shalom without him. Now, that's the kingdom of God on earth we're supposed to actualize and show. I don't mean taking reins politically. I mean, where unity between black and white, brown and whatever group you want to name in there, as well as Jew and Gentile. That's where that unity should be seen. You can see it right here in this broadcast, me and my man Eduardo. We should be able to exemplify that, show that, and then look, regardless of how, let's say a person is Jewish and you present Christ and they reject, or maybe it's even an aggressive rejection, whatever. What do? We show love. We still pray for them. And we don't say, oh, you didn't do what I wanted. You didn't accept Jesus. So we continue on. Jesus is on the cross talking about, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. Jesus is telling people, pray for your enemies, those who use. So being rejected, Jesus told us, hey, there's a time they'll put you out of synagogues. They'll think they're doing God's will. And there's also a time, if you want to play with that verse a little bit, I think we could say there's a time where people are going to destroy and attack synagogues and think they're doing God's will. Neither are right. So we as Christians, I believe, should be allies to those who are oppressed, and that includes those who have to experience anti-Semitic bullying and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we don't compromise the gospel or the principles of love. So Christians, the reason why I say all that is we're going to see more of this stuff. Remember, we are being put here to be the ambassadors of God's hope and plan for mankind of redemption, where he reconciles the world to himself through Christ. So, we've got to stand in the gap and not let any of these bad attitudes affect and influence us, where we start joining on and realize, we've got it. So we got to also display it. So Christians, just keep that in mind when we go through these stories, because, Damien's a Hebrew Israelite. We don't hate him. He talks crazy, but he believes in bad ideas. That's why. Christian, you believed in bad ideas once, and some of you still do. You got to get rid of that stinking thinking. I just tell you this to say we're going to see more of this, but what do? Right? And so we weep with those who weep, mourn with those who mourn, and share the gospel in the meantime. Look what Damon says. These heathens only attempting to share the blame to justify their barbarism when they say nonsense like blacks selling slaves, as if that makes their actions okay. Well, okay.
I'll add this to it. One of the things the Lord's been working with me on vocab, which I don't mind sharing because I think it's a good thing for every person to see this, right? Is that one of the things I had to struggle with is that I don't need to take a person who's a non-believer, a Unitarian, a non-believing Jew, or a Muslim or whatever. I don't, in one conversation, have to take them from A to Z, right? I don't have to take them from not being a believer to a believer, right? And so sometimes we just so badly want to win this person over to the Messiah and to the truth that sometimes we can exhibit more aggression or more offense than sometimes we need to, right? Trust the Lord. We just need to be out there spreading his word and let the word go out and do what it's set out to do, right? A person had me on their show before, interviewed me, that was a Unitarian. Now, no longer in that same perspective, no longer Unitarian, right? Came over to the Trinitarian side. Praise God, right? And you know what? That was the least, you got the word combat on there. That was the least combating I did for the Trinity, right? It was the least defense I did of it. I just existed, was kind, was showing the love of Messiah, was moving in the spirit, answering questions about Judaism. And the brother probably looked at my stuff and came around and said, you know what? I'm convinced that Yeshua is my Lord and my God, right? Jesus is my Lord and my God. So I think there's different strokes for different folks and different ways we have to be led by the Spirit to deal with people. But we don't always got to take people from A to Z in the first conversation we have. Let's trust the Lord to do the work, right?
Got to get rid of that microwave mentality, y'all. Sometimes it's a slow cook. Hey, shameless plug. In my book, Street Level Apologetics, I have a chapter on knowing when to pull the plug. I think it's titled When to Stop Witnessing. And basically, spoiler, the answer is never until they shut the door. Because where's the command of give up? People work way too quick, in my opinion. Christians love to be like, well, don't cast your pearls before swine. I feel like Christians use that way too quick. Yes, it's in the Bible, but I feel like we're misrepresenting what that proverb is all about a lot of times when we're like, basically use it as a way to give up. We want a one and done type thing, you know? I talk about that a little bit. Christians got to have that pit bull mentality, you know? Don't be giving up all quick. We don't have time to deeply analyze this report, 16 pages. Let's just take a look at it real quick.
Yeah.
This is a fascinating PDF. Oh, by the way, every article we've looked at today, everybody, including this PDF, is free link right in the description box. So you can have all these resources and see, because people are like, where's the link? Where's the link? The link for the video, everything is in the description box of this video. So you can go further, okay? Let's check this. Let's see here. Using extremist groups in the revival of an anti-Semitic libel online. So we probably will just kind of look at this part of the executive summary. Mentions of synagogue on Twitter have doubled on average since October 2022, with surges in negative sentiment for comments containing the term during the same period. The Synagogue of Satan is an anti-Semitic libel, accounting lately for nearly 20% of all comments mentioning the term synagogue on Twitter, and is often accompanied by calls for direct action. While Louis Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam leader, I think he just celebrated his 90th birthday, by the way, has been the most influential account for disseminating the term, controversies including rapper Kanye West and basketball player Kyrie Irving have revived the trope. QAnon influencers, Christian nationalists, white nationalists, Black Hebrew Israelites, and Nation of Islam accounts all amplify the term and its associated anti-Semitic narratives. And then this is kind of what's in there. This is the summary of it. The data is actually in the report. Earlier this year, the Combat Anti-Semitism movement published a report examining the targeting of synagogue during the first 2 months of 2023. The study found 33 monitored incidents, anti-Semitic incidents, in which Jewish institutions were targeted globally, 12 of which were U.S. synagogues. That marked a 71.4 increase from the 7 such incidents involving U.S. synagogues during the corresponding time period the previous year. That's horrible. Do you guys understand? This is a real crisis. Use of synagogue of Satan on Twitter is spatially correlated to synagogue vandalism and threats at the county level in the U.S. See, that's fascinating. They're showing the use online along with action. Do you guys see that? Damien's chiming in. I'm not willing to share my divine heritage promised to me and my nation, but the Almighty Most High himself, with thy natural enemy, heathens who hate us. No way. Too bad you heathens can't understand that. You know, Damien, for real, in all seriousness, let me tell you who is the only person who can't understand what you just said. A heathen. You think just like the world. The 1 John, you know, you're going to try to not let it apply, but he who hates his brother doesn't know God. And God is love. And it's a whole list of verses. Love your neighbor as yourself, the second greatest commandment. You exemplify one who's outside of Christ. You exemplify the spirit of Antichrist. You exemplify it. And I pray you get broken out of that. I don't hate you for it. But it's funny, heathens can't understand. Heathens love to talk the way you do. That's why Christian nationalists, and in the negative way, I'm talking about in the QAnon anti-Semitic folks, I'm not saying they all are, by the way. I'm talking about the ones who are in this report, just like not all Hebrew Israelites would be. The Nation of Islam and everyone, and the white supremacists and the Christian identity and the Klan. That's why you guys all agree, because heathens feel this way, bro. What are you talking about? That's why, what's his name? Richard Spencer basically says his religion is his ethnicity. You know? It's like, bro. And here's examples. Ali Alexander. I'm going to insurrect the Synagogue of Satan. I wasn't spared to retire. When they strike me down, I'll become more powerful than I can possibly imagine. Hey, this is hilarious in a way, bro. Because this fool was quoting Obi-Wan Kenobi, bro. You remember? So you have Darth Vader, right?
Yeah, I do.
You got Darth Vader.
Yep.
It's like, you should not have. Hold on, let me see if I can get this. Hold on.
You should not have come back. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Only a master of evil, Darth. If you, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Go ahead.
You know what gets me? I think about all this, right? So let's just give him that he's being persecuted by these quote heathens, right? Let's give it that his family, slavery, the long line, the whole thing, short end of stick, being persecuted by these people. He comes on here essentially cursing those that he feels like are heathens who are persecuting him. But scripture says to bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse. It's Romans 12:14, very clear, right? That if you're a believer in the God of Israel, you should be blessing those who persecute you. I'm not saying you roll over on them and just give them whatever they want, but I am saying that you should have this heart, even on the stream, that you are blessing those who are, if you feel persecuted and you're a believer in the God of Israel and you claim
Right.
to be Israel, then you should be blessing those who persecute you, right? If you feel like you're being persecuted. You, Damien, are at odds with the scriptures
If
and
you
you're at
follow
odds with God's
Messiah,
revelation.
like you say you do. You know, you say you
Exactly.
follow Messiah, and then what you do is exemplify the mentality of what put him on that cross, man. That's you,
Okay,
bro.
you know what's the craziest? You know what's the craziest verse I think about and has application for my life? When they told Yeshua, Jesus, that he was a Samaritan, meaning that he wasn't a Jew, and that he
Right.
had a demon, you know what he responded? I don't have a demon. He had no reason to defend his Jewishness when he was going against the other Pharisees and other leaders.
Right.
Isn't that interesting? The one time they challenged his Jewishness, his ethnicity, his family line, he doesn't even address it. Rather, he addresses the fact of the demon that they claim that he has.
No doubt.
Isn't that fascinating? To me, that's fascinating, right?
Yeah, because
That
they
it
say you're a
shows what his
demon and a
emphasis was.
Samaritan. You're a demon
Yeah,
and
they
a
say, aren't we
Samaritan.
right in saying, exactly, aren't we right in saying that you are Samaritan and you have a demon? He says, I don't have a demon, right? It's what he says. Says, by Beelzebub, you do what you do, right? And so what I'm saying is that there is importance in who we are, right? And how God made us. And the reason why it's important, because it has to do with redemption, whether you're Italian, Chinese, Jamaican. God is calling all people. There's going to be a sea of tribes and all types of tongues and people worshiping the Lamb. Exactly, right? There's going to be a sea that people are, everybody's going to be worshiping the Lamb from every tribe and tongue. So our heritage is important for the sake of redemption. For what? Just to say, oh, he saved the Jamaicans, he saved the Italians. No, it's for him to bring glory to his great name, that he drew all people unto himself. That's the importance of it.
I'm gonna use that sometime, bro. I'm gonna use that joint, how when they attacked Jesus' lineage, his ethnicity directly, he didn't even defend it. I'm gonna totally use that. That's fascinating right there. I like it. Hey, check this out.
Then you got to ask them about the demon they have. So now answer me about the demon you got.
Yeah, exactly, right. If you pick one or two, you see which one they pick, right? Yeah, that's exactly right. Hey, Damien, I like what you're saying here. Damien, do you assume we're Edomites here on the panel? Because I'm gonna tell you something, Damien. Because earlier he says, vocab, you're not my brother, right? Well, Damien, if you believe in the Tanakh, you believe in the Torah, if you think I'm an Edomite, you're going against Scripture. Because according to Deuteronomy 23:7, Damien, I would be your brother. If that's what you think. I don't think that. I don't follow your logic. But you should at least follow Torah. See, these folks don't care about Torah, man. They don't care about Tanakh. What do they care about? Oh, some way to make God justify their hatred and their racism and their anger.
Exactly.
Shout out to Aleko for the super chat. Much love to you. Thank you very much. So look at this. This is a report. I'm going to read this little section right here, because you Hebrews like to rightly catching some flack with this stuff. In addition to the Nation of Islam, other extremist groups such as Black Hebrew Israelites have also adopted the synagogue of Satan trope. Black Hebrew Israelites have a long history of promoting anti-Semitic views, accusing Jews of being satanic imposters, and believing their sect to be the true descendants of the ancient Israelites. The recent controversies involving Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, with some specifically featuring the synagogue of Satan trope, have been adopted as a shared grievance by BH audiences, as the influencers promoted conspiracy theories that echoed BHI's own beliefs. Irving's use of the synagogue of Satan phrase in social media posts while disseminating BHA propaganda shows how mainstream influence in sports and music now signal their affinity for the dangerous trope. More recently, far-right influencer Ali Alexander. Oh, I didn't realize that guy was actually a dude who was involved in Kanye West's 2024 presidential campaign. Wait, for real? I didn't realize. I thought that Alexander was like a random Twitter guy, the guy quoting Obi-Wan Kenobi, basically. This is fascinating. He's also invoked the trope on numerous occasions, even declaring a crusade on the synagogue of Satan. Hey, real quick, I feel like they got one thing wrong there. Kyrie did tweet out a link to Hebrews to Neros, but I don't remember Kyrie ever using or saying
I'm unsure.
the synagogue of Satan himself. he didn't even add any commentary. Not excusing what he did or anything like that, promoting garbage. But at the same time, he just tweeted that out. Now, watch the joint Hebrews to Negroes. It's definitely anti-Semitic, no doubt about that. But I'm just saying. So this report shows this, and then it shows a connection directly, basically, between what's said on social media and what goes on. And they get really deep into this.
Fascinating.
The number of tweets, including Synagogue of Satan, have increased in recent months. The vertical dash lines indicate incidents of vandalism at synagogues. It's literally directly connected.
Wow.
Do you guys see this data? This is a fascinating thing right here. And a scary thing. Now, look, perfect love casts out fear. When I say scary thing, I don't mean like, what I'm saying is a bad thing to have this kind of increased social division. But man, in my view, it's an unfortunate fulfillment of a prophecy of Jesus saying nation against nation. Because it doesn't always have to be Russia, Ukraine, although that too. It sometimes can be within a place, people like, well, here's my tribe, and doing that. But look, they get into the details on this, bro. This report is short, but got a lot to it. Now, I don't
Did you see
have
that
time
Kanye tweet? They had Kanye's tweet on there
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
Did you see that? It said shalom.
Yeah, he tweeted that right after some of the
Yeah,
anti-Semitic
right there,
stuff,
yeah.
and people were like,
Yeah,
"Wait, why did he
crazy.
tweet that out?" But he did. So this is a fascinating report. It's free. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, they got Farrakhan in there, right? Bada boom, the Kyrie. More details about that. So we're not going to read all this, but I'm just showing you how they're showing the connection is directly related there. Then they got recommendations at the end there. And then they give their some actual examples, not because they don't do all of them. This is real messed up. That's crazy. Some of this stuff the QAnon folks be tweeting out. That's crazy right there. And look, they show when it's even
That is crazy.
on Instagram, the hashtag trending. So this is some real stuff, man. Hey, comments before we jump out of here, bro.
Yeah.
What's the final word you want to give on this stuff, man?
Yeah, so for me, like I said, I think the only way to combat this is with the truth of the gospel, right? It's good to give you guys the information. I think, vocab brings good information. I've been watching for a long time, since before I was making stuff. This is the kind of, we need to be encouraged to go out and make the name of Jesus known, the truth of his gospel.
right.
And that light of his light is the only thing that's going to destroy this darkness, right? Nothing else is going to stop it. If we stand by and we just hang out in our cushiony churches or our cushiony Messianic synagogues, if we're not in the streets, this thing is just going to take over, right? We need to go to them and bring the church, bring the body of Messiah to them and bring that light of Messiah. And this will bring people out of the domain of darkness into the domain of his light. And that's what we need to do, man. That's how we will preach this gospel, preach this truth, and destroy this hatred and bring Messiah again. Amen.
No doubt. Facts. Man, thanks for joining. Perfect show.
Oh, brother,
for you
thank
to
you.
jump on. I'll probably try to go into YouTube Editor, take out some of these sections tomorrow if I get a chance, where there was some dead air, dead space. But everyone subscribe to Radar
I don't know what happened.
Apologetics. I'm gonna bring it down next time with the stream. But everyone subscribe to Radar Apologetics. Rabbi Eduardo, check out his debate he did on the Shema Trinitarian. Does some great stuff, brought out some great examples from the Hebrew language about this, complex unity. He explains it better than I ever could. I encourage you to check out that debate. And shout out to the live chat. You guys have been great. Listen, I hope everyone realizes every Thursday, that's our day to go live at different times, but just know, on this channel, youtube.com/vocabulon, which you should subscribe to. It's every Thursday. The times do switch. Now, this week was a little different because I had a situation where I was connected to a viral tweet, 20 million views. I was connected to it, and that I was the source for the viral tweet. We went live on Tuesday because that was an exception. I don't think I'm ever going to be connected to a viral tweet like that again. So I want to do something Tuesday to really jump on that. But most days it's Tuesdays the premiere. Thursday, right, is the live stream, and then Sunday alternates. Sometime a premiere, sometime a live stream. Every other week is the way it goes. Well, actually, second and fourth. So you guys will start to see it. We're on a schedule. It can be a little tricky to remember, but I'm going to put it somewhere on the YouTube channel at some point. But Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, those are the days there's activity. The other days, it's either silence, peep out, catch up, or shorts. That's what's going on here. All right, man. Tell people where to find you and we'll jam.
Yeah, so Radar Apologetics on YouTube, RabbiEduardo.com, and BethelGabor.org is my Messianic Congregation's website. So thank you guys for being here, man. I appreciate the invite, Vocab.
No
It's a
doubt.
great time,
Anytime,
man.
bro. That's right. Exactly.